In this video, we're going to talk about one super easy hack that you can do in order to dramatically increase your credit score or establish credit in the first place. Now, this video is based off experience. I've done this with someone else, so this isn't an exaggeration or simply an attempt to clickbait people into views. Now, for full transparency, I will say that in order to perform this hack, you will need the help of another person. So if you don't have someone that you trust, like a family member, a loved one, a friend that you could do this with, then you will not be able to do this hack. The hack is actually very, very simple. You're going to need someone to add you on their account as an authorized user. Now, authorized user is essentially when you get to piggyback off of someone's credit history. A couple of things you want to keep in mind when you do this is, number one, that the person actually has positive credit history, meaning they pay their card on time, they don't owe any balances, etc., etc. Number two, you want to make sure this person adds you to their best credit card. What do I mean by this? So for example, let's say the person you want to be added as an authorized user as owns multiple credit cards. And let's say they have one or two credit cards where they've had balances, where they've missed a payment or two. You don't want them to add you on any of those cards, but instead you want them to add you on a credit card where they've never missed a payment, never had a balance, etc., etc. Because when you're added as an authorized user, you're only added to a particular credit card's credit history and not to all of their credit cards. I have some experience with this, so I'll quickly go over that. For example, I added my wife to my Chase Freedom card, my OG Freedom card, which is now a Chase Freedom Flex. And without exaggeration, her credit score shot up from low to mid 600 to mid-high 700s just through the simple fact that I added her as an authorized user. For one of the credit bureaus, her credit score went up about 80 points. And for another one of the credit bureaus, her credit score went up like 120. So adding someone as an authorized user not only dramatically increases their credit score, assuming that the person who's adding the other person as an authorized user already has a high score, it can actually help you establish credit. Now, the last thing I'm going to quickly go over in this video is how to use an authorized user to establish credit. It's pretty much the same thing. Let's say you have a son or daughter or even a friend who doesn't have established credit. So what you want to do is you're going to go into your Chase account, your Capital One account, etc., and you're going to add them as an authorized user. When you do this, after a couple of days, they will have established credit. A couple of additional hacks that you can do in order to minimize the risk of adding that young person or whoever it is from lowering your credit score, because the thing with authorized user is, yes, authorized users can see an increase in their score, but they can also see a decrease in their score if the person who added them as an authorized user starts to irresponsibly use their credit card. So in order to eliminate this risk, what you do is when you add someone as an authorized user is when you have their physical credit card mailed to you, you either put it in a sock drawer and never give it to the person or cut it up. And what ends up happening is they still get to benefit off the positive credit history from the credit card that you added them. And now you don't run the risk of them irresponsibly using that credit card you now gave to them because they don't actually have it in their possession. You would be absolutely shocked to find out that many adults don't know the first thing about an authorized user. Typically, a lot of adults find out about authorized users when they go to buy their first home and are told that if one of the partners have a really low credit score, the one with the higher credit score can add the other as an authorized user. And because these two people are already in a relationship, the trust is there so that one person can add the other. I had friends, family members that have done this, and I have found out about this without ever having to apply or search for a house, and now I'm sharing that knowledge for free to you in this video. Now that's all I have for this video. Stay tuned for future upcoming videos on personal finance and productivity.